Good evening, groovy citizens, and happy Motivational Monday to each and every one of you.
Phone book update failed.
Thank you. Right now, my dashboard says it is 93 degrees outside, and as you can see, all this perspiration that is accumulated on my face just from coming out the house, locking the door, and getting in the car. Actually, I got in the car and I had to get my tripod set up, but even still, it's quite muggy out, okay? And as I was looking at the television on my way out the door, the news lady was saying that we have some possible thunderstorms coming up, I believe, the rest of the week. And it will be a little on the muggy side, okay? So wherever you live, just make sure you're trying to stay cool. So today, well, first of all, let me say this. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I know I did. It didn't last long, but hey, I'm thankful for the weekend nonetheless, because guess what? In a few more days, the weekend will be here yet again. So I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. You were able to relax, just unwind, get some things done, or whatever it is that you chose to do this weekend. I just hope you had fun doing it. Now, let's jump into today's topic, which is making tough decisions. Making tough decisions. So, I wanted to talk about this today because in all of our lives, we've had to make some tough decisions. Somebody right now, under the sound of my voice, is having to make a tough decision, and somebody down the road will have to make tough decisions. And so I decided, you know what, this is the perfect topic to talk about. So making tough decisions oftentimes will impact every area of our lives, as well as the people around us. So it's important that we understand that when we have to make a tough decision, it doesn't just impact us, it impacts the people around us. When you have to make a tough decision in your house or in your home or for your family, it doesn't just impact you, it impacts your spouse, your children, and whoever else lives with you, or whoever else makes up the core of your immediate family. So here are some things to think about when making tough decisions. I have 5 things I'm going to share with you, and I promise I'll let you be. Number 1, I said look beyond the moment. Look beyond the moment. So you have to look at not only the immediate gain from your choice, I'm going to say, or your choices, but also at the long-term benefits or issues. Keep in mind the moment will pass, but will you still be confident in your choice the next day, the next week, the next month, or the next year? That's something to think about. So we all have done that before. And if you say you haven't, you're telling a tale. We all have made a decision that impacted us in this very moment, but we didn't think about, well, we're going to still feel good about that decision the next day, the next week, the next month, the next year. You didn't stop to think about that at all, because all you were thinking about was this very moment. And let me say this, sometimes you are going to have to make decisions that are going to impact the moment with which you are living. And you're not going to have time to be worrying about next month, next week, next year. You have to worry about right then and there. So you have to make sure you don't confuse the two, but you also have to keep in mind that when you make that tough decision, whatever that decision may be, as I ask the question, will you still be confident in your choice? So if you make a decision today, will you still be confident in the choice that you made tomorrow, next week, next month, or next year? Those are things you have to think about. Number 2, evaluate a head choice versus a heart choice. So a head choice is a decision that makes sense on paper. A heart choice is one that speaks to your soul and meets a need or longing, and it's made using your passions and emotions. And so unfortunately, that is something that I cannot help you with. That is something that you are going to have to figure out on your own, because only you know what that decision is and how it's going to affect you. All I'm saying is, and everything I'm sharing with you will be in the description box, all I'm saying is evaluate the head choice versus the heart choice. And this is where your journal comes into play, y'all. Get out your journal and write down on a piece of paper, head choice. Write everything down on paper, as I said, that makes sense on paper. And then flip the paper over, or maybe, divide the paper in half. And in the other column, you write heart choice. And then you write down all of those things that speak to your soul and they meet a need or a longing, and it's made using your passions and your emotions. And then you're going to have to look at both of those to ensure that you're making the right decision. That's a tough one, but like I said, that's one that you are going to have to figure out on your own, just like I've had to figure them out on my own. Keep in mind, the best decisions often have both emotional rewards, okay, and they make rational sense as well. So you're not necessarily going to find a decision that's going to meet one need or the other. There are going to be times where they meet both of those needs. So again, all I can say is, this is where, if you don't pray, sweetie, this is where you need to start praying, and you need to ask God, what is the decision that you need to make? Because this is not one that you can handle on your own. Number 3, ask yourself if you could survive if you were disappointed. Ask yourself, can you survive if you were disappointed? So what if you realized you had made a mistake? Could you survive the feeling like you failed yourself and or others? Always think about the what if questions before moving forward. And that is so important. I don't know about you all. I pray about everything. Okay, let me just keep that 100 with you. But I pray about everything. And even when I'm not sure, I believe God is speaking to me, but I'm still not quite sure, I play the what if game. And I'll say, okay, Michelle, well, what if you do this? And what if you do that? What if you do the other? Because I'm one of these people, some say I overthink things. I probably do, but it is what it is, and that's just who I am. Because I want to make sure I am making the right decision. Now, does that mean that you're always going to make the right decision? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There are going to be times where you are going to make a decision that does not sit well with other people. And there are going to be times that you make a decision and it's not going to sit well with other people, such that they are going to make you feel like you failed them. And you may have. I don't know. But the question is, that I started off with, ask yourself if you can survive if you were disappointed. So if you disappoint others that you love and you care about, can you survive? Because here's the reality, and as much as I hate to say this, this is the reality, you guys. People are taking their lives every single day. Every single day, somewhere, somebody is taking their lives because they feel like they've disappointed the people that were counting on them. They feel like they've disappointed the people that they love and that love them. They feel like they disappointed this imaginary group of people that actually care about what they're doing. You know, it's sad, but that's just the reality in which we live. People are taking their lives every single day. So this is why I'm encouraging you that when you have to make those tough decisions, that you honestly pray about it. God is not going to always come to you with that answer right away. So you've got to be prepared to sit and really think. Sit and wait. because God, and sometimes God can answer just like that, and sometimes he doesn't. So I need you to just wait until you hear from God, and not just that voice that you want to hear in your mind. I'm talking about truly hearing from God before you make a move. Because what I don't want to do is ever hear about any of you becoming a statistic and you took your life because you felt like you've disappointed other people or you've disappointed yourself. Number 4, respect the effect and influence of others. So you should always think about how your decision or decisions will affect others, is what I meant to say. Perfect example of this is accepting a new job that will cause you to have to move to another state before accepting the job, you need to discuss it with your spouse and your children, as they will be greatly affected by the move. And we all know that these types of things happen all the time, where people accept jobs and it's like, honey, I accepted a job, but you haven't talked to your spouse or your family at all about moving. And now they're upset because they don't want to move. They love where they are. And all of this stuff that's going on could have been avoided if you had sat down and talked to them and said, hey, you know what, guys, come on, let's just have a family meeting. I'm thinking about applying for this job, or I apply for this job. I don't know if I'm going to get selected, but I'm just putting you on notice. It will cause us to have to move. How do you guys feel about that? Now, I know some people are saying, well, look, I'm grown. I don't have to discuss it with anybody. Well, I feel like this. If you have a family, you might want to discuss that with them, because they can come to hate you very quickly. And do you have a right to take a job? Absolutely. But I also think it's not fair to not sit and discuss with your family how this new job is going to affect them, because it is going to affect them. Because that means now your kids have to uproot and move to a whole new state, a whole new city, a whole new town, and they're going to new schools. Your wife, maybe she has to go and find a job. She has a job where she is, but now she's got to go find a job where you're moving to, because she has no job there. Maybe her job won't allow her to telework or work from home. So we've got to be careful about the decisions that we make, as I said, because we have to respect the effect and the influence of others. Your one decision that you make can affect so many people if you don't open your mouth and talk to them about it first. Now, there are going to be times where you still have to move forward, whether they like it or not. I get that. But I'm just saying, up front, sit down and have that conversation, because it's not fair to make their lives miserable and make them have to change, all because you were thinking of self. And number 5, last but not least, go with what you know. We may never have all the right answers, but we can pick the best option. Let me say that again. We may never have all the right answers, but we can pick the best option. Decisions should never be made solely on your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, and potential, but also on facts that will support your choice. Do you know how many people have made decisions to invest money in something that sounded good? I'm sorry, I'm getting in frame. Sounded good, okay? And they were going off of dreams, hopes, wishes, and potentials. Hey, you know what? This investment could be a great payoff. Operative word is could be. But you didn't go on the facts. You didn't look into whether or not that stock has potential to go anywhere. You're going by what somebody told you. Hey, invest in that stock because it's gonna blow up. But you haven't done any research. And so you've invested all of your hard-earned, saved money into that stock that just plummeted. And now you have nothing. You have absolutely nothing. So go with what you know. Do your homework. Before you make an investment in anything, do your research. And that's my cue to wrap this up, y'all, because that was thunder. So, yeah, let me finish that thought up and I'm gonna let you be. So yeah, whenever you make a decision, go with what you know. Here's one of those times you can't just go with your heart. You've got to go with your head. You've got to do the research and learn all you can about whatever that thing is, because if not, you could end up with nothing, okay, in the end. And then that's going to cause you to hurt yourself. It's going to cause you to hurt other people. So make sure you go with what you know. Don't always go with what somebody told you. Don't always go with the hunch that you have. Don't always go with a dream that you have. Go with what you know. And on that note, I'm going to go with what I know, because I just heard thunder and I'm going to get my behind back in the house before it starts raining. Having said that, you guys, hopefully something I said resonates with you and helps you as you begin to make tough decisions. And you know, as I was going through each one of these points, it made me think about how we're all getting older. We're all getting older. Many of us are still fortunate, no, I'm going to say blessed, to still have our parents here. My maternal grandmother and grandfather, they've long since been deceased, and my paternal grandfather is deceased, but my paternal grandmother turned 101. I think it was 101, or was it 102? I want to say 101 in May. She still lives in her own home. And she's not able to get around a lot because of the arthritis in her knees, but mentally she's doing great. God is good. And yeah, God is good. I'm just going to say that. And I was going somewhere. Oh, when I was talking about making tough decisions, and I was talking about how we're all getting older, I should say. And so some of you have already had to make tough decisions for your loved ones. And guess what? The reality is if we live long enough, somebody's going to have to make tough decisions about us. All I'm saying is to make sure you use these 5 points. And that was to look beyond the moment, evaluate a head choice versus a heart choice. Number 3, ask yourself if you could survive if you were disappointed. Number 4, respect the effect and influence of others. And that was number 4. And number 5, go with what you know. Take all of these things into consideration as you begin to make some very difficult decisions in your life. And it doesn't have to be putting a loved one in a nursing home or something of that nature. It could just be whether or not it's time for you to move out of your house into a condo in a senior building. It could be whether or not it's time for you to downgrade your vehicle from that big SUV you drive or that pickup truck to a smaller car. So decisions that we make come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. All I'm saying is make sure you do your research, go with what you know. Don't just choose with the head or with the heart. Really do your research so you can make the right decisions. Because what you don't want to do is wake up the next day and go, oh my God, I messed up. I want you to make the right decisions and feel good about it. And this is why I encourage you all the time, pray about everything. I know sometimes people say, but Michelle, that's too small. It doesn't matter. Pray about it anyway. God didn't say only come to me with large prayers. He says that we are to pray about everything. And so that's what I want you to do. Pray about it before you make those decisions. Having said that, you guys, I'm going to let you be because I'm looking at the trees across the street and they are really blowing and the sky's getting darker. So I think that we are going to have a thunderstorm rolling through. I don't know if you heard that little bit of thunder just a few minutes ago, but I don't want to be outside when it happens again. So this is it. This is all I have. Thank you so much for giving me just a little bit of your time. If you're new to watching my videos, I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I do car conversations every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So make sure you come back on Wednesday. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. For those of you, this is not your first rodeo, I want to say welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. You know I miss you when I don't get a chance to see you. Go out there, enjoy the rest of your evening. I would say, well, I'm going to say it anyway. Wherever you go, whatever you do, make sure you have fun, but also be safe. Because like I said, if you're here in the DMV area, I think a thunderstorm is approaching. So just be careful about wherever you go. Have fun, but be very careful. I love you all. You know the drill, and you definitely know the spill. I love you to the moon and back, and there is nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, that you can ever do to change it. Because I love you all so much. I want nothing but the best for you. This is why I have dedicated my time to pouring into you as much as I possibly can, because I want the best for you. And guess what? The best is yet to come, both for you and for me. Having said that, love you. Talk again on Wednesday.